One day, Nanabuju realized that he hadn't seen any of his co-workers in a very long time. Since his co-workers were also some of his dearest friends, he decided to throw a party and invite them all. He sent out invitations across the land and built a large campfire in preparation. He also gathered good food to eat and a drum group to make music. It was going to be a real shindig. All of Nanabuju's co-workers came. There was Iktomi the spider, Nihant, Rabbit, Raven, Coyote, and many more. They were all happy to see each other and thanked and praised Nanabuju for bringing them together, although a few from the south privately grumbled to each other that it was a bit chilly in Nanabuju's part of the world. As was befitting the group, the party was festive, boisterous, full of laughter, and equally full of petty squabbles. They ate and talked and danced and played tricks on each other for a very long time. As was inevitable, eventually the partygoers found themselves sitting around the campfire swapping old stories. Sometimes the stories were about how they had tricked others, and sometimes they were about how they had been tricked. Sometimes the stories elicited knowing grunts and head nods for the bits of wisdom they imparted or how they explained how the world came to be. Sometimes they were just silly. "You know who you can have a lot of fun with?" asked Rabbit. "Those bison. They are about as strong as you get, but that's about the only thing they got going for themselves." Several of the other partygoers thought that bison had at least one more thing going for them. They were pretty tasty. However, they kept their mouths shut because they knew that interrupting or trying to talk over Rabbit was pointless. Rabbit kept jabbering away. "One day, I saw two bison on opposite sides of the hill. They were completely oblivious to each other. You know how they are. They're just a bunch of big, blind, lumbering oafs." A handful of partygoers thought about disagreeing with Rabbit, but thought better of it because they wanted to hear the story. "Anyway, normally I wouldn't bother with them because they can't see where they are stepping, and that can be bad news for someone built as low to the ground as I am. But I was bored and there wasn't much else to do, and when I saw this opportunity, I knew I had to take it." Rabbit gave a half smile as he started warming up to his own story. "The thing about bison is, as dumb as they are, at least they know they are strong. So I went up to the first one and I said, 'Hey there, big fella. You look like you have a lot of muscles, but I've never met anyone who is more powerful than me.' He just snorted as if he didn't hear me, but I know he did. So I went to the second bison and I said the same thing. He also snorted and pretended not to hear me, but I knew that if I kept it up, I would get under their skins. So I kept going back and forth between them several times and saying things like, 'You're not so tough,' and 'I've never met a creature so scrawny,' and 'I've pooped stronger loads than you.' After a while, they both would say something back like, 'Get out of here, Pipsqueak,' or 'I wouldn't waste my time with someone as small as you,' or, and this was my favorite, 'You don't want to tussle with this muscle.'